My wife and I recently took a much-needed vacation to St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Just a month before that, we had some major landscaping done with a new patio, gardens, and all new plants. Instead of relying on my kids to water everything while we were having our relaxing, stress-free getaway, I installed an inexpensive drip irrigation system to water everything automatically while we were gone. Look at all these parts, right? When you get into drip irrigation, there's just so many little parts and pieces and whatnot. Now, I bought two different kits. I bought one with 3/8" tubing and the other with 1/4" tubing. This is what the 1/4" tubing looks like. These are the types of drippers that are in these kits, I should say. This one is a fixed drip, so it's not adjustable. It comes out the same rate, and it's supposed to be like a pressure, I don't know what you want to call it, it's pressure regulating, so that it always comes out consistent regardless of the pressure of the hose. This one is supposed to be adjustable, that it turns, and the more you turn it, the more water comes out. These two are misters that are technically supposed to be installed from the top down, but you'll see I installed mine from the bottom up, just because of a little configuration issue that I had. But anyway, those are the actual drippers. And then this is kind of a manifold that I use to get from the 3/8" main line into the 4 branches. You can put up to 4 branches on there. And then there's all kinds of connectors. This is a T. Oh boy. So let's start with the water source. On the side of my house I have a spigot here. I guess it's about 15 feet from the front of the house. And I put a Y on it so that one side goes to the drip system and the other side just goes to the garden hose in the back. Now, the drip system, you need some kind of a timer if you want to do it automatically. Otherwise, you can just do it manually. But I use this Eve Aqua timer. That was a sponsored video at one point. I'll put a link to it in the video description. But you can use any kind of a timer. It doesn't have to be a smart timer like this. But I do like this one because I can control it from my phone. And then below the Eve Aqua, I put a backflow preventer and a pressure regulator. Now, those two things are not included in the kit. I got those locally, I think at Lowe's. And then it goes into the connector to the 3/8" line. Now, the main line runs all the way to the front of the garden. And I'm eventually going to put it underneath the stone so it's not visible. But you can see it comes here and it branches off into 1/4" line. And so you can see one of the 1/4" lines goes up to the evergreen tree here, and that has one of the big drippers on it that can give that a lot of water. And because all these plants are new, I put them on all the shrubs. You can see there's one under here as well, and all the others have them too, even the boxwoods in the back. Now, those are the adjustable ones that I can shut off. So, you know, I don't think I need to water those forever. But one of the things that I do need to water forever are, like, the window box here. This needs a lot of water, and there's an overhang that it doesn't really get too much rain. So that's why it's important to have that hose come up. I'm going to change that out to be white so it's not as visible. And then in here, I have 4 drippers. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4. And the hose runs along the back. Beautiful, not visible. And then I have another branch that goes to my hydrangea. That needs a lot of water. So it has its own big dripper. And then over here I have this line. Goes in front of all these annuals that are in front of this little wall right here. And they don't need a lot of water, so what I did is I just put the misters in there. And it really works well. In fact, it probably works too well because this is a low spot in the yard and it's too wet. And you could Here the grass is sloshy, and you can even see that it's very wet in there. And heading down from behind the hydrangea, the main line comes right down here to our last connector, and I stubbed out 2 of them because I didn't need all 4 of them. I stubbed out 2. That's how you they can be removed for future expansion if I want to, but you can see one of them comes up to this pot, and the other line goes to feed, or I should say to water, these daylilies right here. Now to water the back garden, I have another hose right here, and I'm going to put a T in so that that comes off. It branches in both directions, and that one's going to come to the back. This is a much longer run, but this is going to come to the back patio where there's a whole bunch of pots that need to be watered. You can see that line right there. That's where it's coming from the side of the house, and here you can see plenty of pots and herbs. More pots, and on the walls we've got more pots and more pots. So for us to go away and not have to worry about it, I've got to find a way to irrigate all of these things.
Now installing this stuff is really easy. The first thing they tell you to do is to open up the tubing and let it sit in the sun for a little while. It'll get a whole lot more flexible. And then I took one of these 1/4-inch tubings and I ran it all the way around the patio. I didn't have enough 3/8, but I had enough 1/4-inch because I actually wound up buying 2 packs that had the 1/4-inch tubing in it. So I wound up getting a total of 3 kits to do my front and back. And they all work on the same timer, same spigot. They go on at the same time. Now starting at the furthest point, I wanted to water both of these big pots. So I took the line coming up from the garden and I put a T and I split that into 2 lines, and each one of them has a blue dripper, which is one of the fixed drippers. It's not adjustable. It drips at the same rate all the time. And I put one of those in each one of these pots. Now here you can see the way the 3/8-inch connectors work. This has it kind of clamps down. I don't know that it really needs to be clamped. It's not that high a pressure, but you do put these clamps, you put them on with the barb, slide it on, and then you clamp it down. And the 1/4-inch are just pressed in. So here you can see I'm inserting one of the lines from some of the other pots, the big pots. Next, I turn my attention to connecting the back to the timer. And I did that with this 3/8-inch T that I bought locally at a hardware store. That did not come with the kits. And all I had to do was cut into that main line. And I'm using a PEX pipe tool. It's a PEX pipe cutter. But you don't need that. You could actually do this with scissors. The tubing is really not very heavy. And then I just pressed it in. There's no clamps, no nothing. Just pressed it on as good as I could. And it worked out fine. No problems at all. Now for the small pots in the back, I got a little bit creative and I used this aluminum server and I put the tubing on the top and I used misters through it. And it's really great. I just took the small pots from around the patio and put them there. And I even had room underneath where excess water was going. I could put a lot of small pots in here just to keep them out of the sun and to make sure they got watered. And really, those 3 misters did all these plants fine. And if I needed to, I could move them. I could add more. I could do whatever I needed. It really worked out well.
That's really cool. And then if I want, I could just reposition them. I could reposition these wherever I want, depending upon where the flowers are. That's just really awesome. Okay, I came back from vacation and I am happy to report that everything survived and looks good. The only thing that went wrong while I was gone was one of these fixed emitters came off its hose in one of the pots in the back. And the reason for that is that I guess when the hoses get really hot in the sun, because we had a bit of a heat wave, the barbs on there are not as big as the other ones. I don't know if you could see the difference, but this one has a bigger barb than these. So what I may do is upgrade these fixed drippers in the future. But that was the only incident. My daughter found it, fixed it, because of course she saw one of the pots was just flooded because it popped off and was running a solid stream of water. But other than that, it's been fine. Now, one of the things that there's a bit of a debate on is how close to put the emitters to the base of the plant. Do you drip right by the bottom of the plant, right by the center, or do you pull it out a little bit so that it's underneath the drip line of the plant? Now, this is a bad example because this is a daylily, and it's a daylily that the deer ate while I was gone. But take, for example, over here with the azalea. You can see I have the emitter way underneath. It's probably a little bit more appropriate to put it a little further out rather than right underneath the plant. But I don't know. It's a debate. A lot of people say that, oh, they put them right under the plant and they never have a problem. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a right and a wrong. What's your opinion? You could let me know in the comments. Other than that, I've been lazy, and I need to cover these lines because they look pretty odd. And I also have a piece of white tubing that I can replace that with. But other than that, everything worked out well. So I think we're going to keep it. And look at this. This has only been drip watered for the past week and a half, 2 weeks, and it's been brutal. The sun is brutal, and the heat has been really bad here in New Jersey. And you can see it's thriving. So this is definitely the way to go for watering your plants. So what's next? Are we just going to use it when we go on vacation? Well, I don't think so. I think my wife actually likes it. So right now, because it's July and it's so darn hot, we have it going twice a day, 10 minutes, twice a day, 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. My wife belongs to some garden groups, and she said that seems to be the common theory, the common practice as far as drip irrigation goes. So there you have it. Thanks for watching, and leave me a comment if you have any questions, and I will get back to you when I can. Thanks a lot.
Hey there, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon to be the first to know when new videos are posted. Look for HandyDadTV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and visit the website HandyDad.tv for more great ideas and information.